Hi everybody, welcome back to another Sean's World video. Now in today's video I'm going to address the power supply in here. As you're probably well aware, when I started this renovation project, the main aim and key for me was to be off-grid. Now not just the end cottage off-grid, but whilst I'm renovating I wanted to keep everything off-grid. I've set up a workshop. The main reason why I've set a workshop up in the bottom of the renovation of the cottage is two reasons really. I'm going to be doing a lot of work upstairs, so I need to fabricate stuff downstairs. The other reason is I actually have another shop that basically helps to pay for the renovation, so I still need to work, use power tools, make woodworking things, polish me copper. Up till this point I've just needed lighting and small hand tools, and I've managed to get by with some products from Ecoflow. They're little units, and to this point it's been absolutely brilliant for me. But now I've set the workshop up, those little units that I'm using aren't big enough, they're not giving me enough power supply. So Ecoflow, they've kindly sent me a very nice unit that will actually power my bigger tools. And they've asked me to do a comparison with my petrol generator, which I sometimes use. So today we're going to make some products, and I'm also going to test the Ecoflow against the petrol generator. So let's get started. Shall we open it up and see what's in there? Now I really can't emphasise how helpful Ecoflow have been in this restoration project. I think if I hadn't have had their products it would have severely slowed me down. I'd have had to have used the petrol generator, which I don't really like doing, noise, and we'll go over all those issues later. But yeah, they really have been key in this off-grid project. So once again, a big thank you to Ecoflow. Right, as long as they ain't sent me an empty box. Right. There we go. I didn't know they'd done chocolates. Wow. Let's get this out of the way. So they have kindly sent me the Ecoflow Delta 2 Max. Now I understand this is a very good unit. I've done a little bit of research on what sort of power capacity I needed. It's not too heavy, so we're going to need some solar panels, and they've also sent me some solar panels, which is really kind, so let me show you what these are. Okay, now I understand that these are roof mounted solar panels, 220 watt, so you can connect these in series. So I've already got 220 watt with the smaller units, so I can now put in 440 watts into that unit, which is very useful. So when I spoke to Ecoflow, we discussed my needs, and they said probably best to go with the roof panels. Now for today's video I won't be going up on the roof to mount these, but that's where they will be going. These are roof mounted rigid panels. They're 100 watt each, not 110, so I'm getting 200 watts out of the pair. You can be linked together. So just out of curiosity I'm going to press the on switch to see what happens. Maybe they come with a full charge. Well, it's got 30% charge, which is good, and there's quite a few ports there. Let's have a look. There's quite a few of them. We've got 4 USB A's, 2 of them are fast charging. We've got USB C's at the bottom, great for charging laptops and stuff like that. Right, now I'm going to turn it round and we're going to have a look to see what's on this end. Now this is the in-port end, I believe, as well. Oh yeah, so you've got 2 charging points from your solar. You've got your AC. This is the car charging socket or output. Yeah, this is the car charging 12 volt output. Simple on off switch there. 4 normal. Obviously depending on what country you're in and you order from, you'll get different sockets for your appliances to plug in there, but 4 outlets is really good. Now I can link my chop saw, which is a radial arm saw, just behind me. All of my multi-powered tools like that, you know, going up to roughly about 2.5 kilowatt, around that sort of region. So it's got a good surge facility on it that boosts up to about 3.1, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, very versatile battery pack. So I'm just going to go up onto the scaffold. We're going to temporarily install the solar panels, see what sort of wattage we get on a cloudy day. Jack, my assistant, is going to pass them up to me. Yep. So there's a separate kit that comes with these. I don't think I've got the box yet. It's a mounting kit that you use for fixing these to your roof. So I couldn't have gone up there anyway. So yeah, just for illustration purpose, we're going to plug it in and see what this overcast day is producing. So what you also have to factor in is you get cloudy days like today. Now we're only producing at the moment 22 watts input. This unit is the fastest charging unit on the market. I think it charges fully in something like 2 hours. So yeah, it really does charge quickly from the mains, the AC port. So the solar is more of a trickle feed into it. So now we're going to go and take a closer look at the petrol generator and weigh up the pros and cons. So, now an instant comparison. I bought this out of storage, not used it for a little while. The rubber hoses had perished, put some petrol in it and it just emptied everywhere on the floor. So before I could even start this up, there was a little bit of maintenance that I had to do with it, which is something you have to consider when you've got a petrol generator. And like this is literally out of the box, plug and play. Alright, this isn't a new unit, but as they get older, I mean this lasts for 10 years on a daily cycle. You know, you get 10 years out of this, and even after that it only drops down to 80% of the capacity, so it is pretty maintenance free in that respect. Now I don't think you'd get 10 years out of one of these continual use, so that is another thing that you have to consider. Right, I've started this earlier, so I know it's going to start. We'll start it up and we'll see how loud it is or isn't. I'll say if you're working in a building, you've got fumes to consider and the noise. Okay, you can put an extension lead out which will mitigate it slightly, but yeah, that's another consideration, the fumes and the noise. So as you can see, or rather as you could hear, it's rather noisy even from a distance, so that is another factor. Right, I did say about the price. Now there's several things you've got to consider when you're pricing these two different units up. I think you could probably get something like this, a new version, for about €800 thereabouts, maybe up to 1,000. A sort of 2.6 kilowatt max. Is it 2.6? Yeah, 2.6 kilowatt max unit. Compared to a very similar outage on this one. Now, this unit retails at around €2,000. Now that sounds a lot until you start factoring in how long it's going to last. Now you get at least 10 years maintenance free continual use on this every single day. Now I'm not so sure one of these would last even 5 years, let alone 10, so that is another factor. Although they do last a long time, but I don't think you'd want one running every single day. Also what you've got to weigh up is the eco credentials of the two units. Obviously this runs on petrol, you've got the fumes, you've got the noise. This one, it's using the latest technology lithium batteries in this, which really are very, very efficient. And obviously no noise apart from a fan that maybe will kick in when it gets hot, or the weather gets hot should I say. So yeah, two very distinctive things to consider there. Now with this you've got the weight issue and the portability as well as the fuel. Now when you run out of fuel you've got to go to the garage, you know, you've got to factor those trips in as well. With this you've got none of that, so yep, that is another important consideration. Now these can be controlled remotely wherever you are. You can control the output, what time it kicks in and out. You can monitor everything via your phone, which I think is really cool. Yeah, they really are a clever bunch, the old Ecoflow lot. Right, 30%. Yep, 30%. Very simple to set up as well. Even I can do it. So we got rained off and we've had to come inside, but that's not a problem because we was anyway. Been thinking long and hard to give this a balanced review. Now if you was out somewhere remotely and you had no way of charging this unit up, or you was using 2 kilowatts constantly, then I think the petrol generator would probably outperform power supply wise than this, because you'd only have maybe an hour plus running time on 2 kilowatt. Obviously if you're outputting 2 kilowatt with the petrol generator, as long as you put petrol in it, that will supply you 2 kilowatt all day long. So yeah, I think that's the major downside with this, but it depends on what application you got, whereabouts you are. So yeah, so what I need to do is find a piece of wood so I can make a better back plate than the one that was temporary for this one. So source a bit of wood, we get that cut up and get these cleaned up looking nice. So let's go and find a piece of wood. Oh, it's pouring down again. So I have found a piece of wood that's suitable. We'll get that cut down to size. Yeah. So now we've ripped it straight down the centre, which is good. I'll get 2 out of that piece of wood. Now this was drawing about 1300 watts, handled it no problem whatsoever, which you'd expect because it's got a capacity of over 3 kilowatt surge. So right, that's that one. Now we're going to use the radial arm saw. But before I do that, I need to determine how long I need these pieces to be. So this is our hanging bar. It's in brass. I'll get that polished up on my polishing machine shortly. So I'm probably looking at, well, I'll tell you what, I've definitely got to cut that end off. So we'll cut that end off and then I'll do my measurement once that, it's an old they call it a ball nose finish on a piece of wood, so we'll get that cut off and then I can get my measurement exact. Nice clean straight cut. Okay. So now that we've established the width, now we need to cut it to length. So let's have a look to see what length we need. I'm going to give it to there. Yep. 4 inches, 100 mil. Let's get that scribed off there. So let's use the chop saw. Normally when I'm cutting wood, mask on. Obviously I'm talking, so fixing lugs back on. Kind of established that sort of spacing, which is good. Now I'm going to set about finishing the edge off. Now I can do that several ways, maybe with a planer, maybe a router. It really depends on what sort of finish I want. So let's get the router out and put a routed finish on it. Thank you, Lou. I received the cap. If the hat fits, wear it. So just a light rub down now. Just get the feathery edges off from the router. Now another thing that I've found with the Ecoflow, there's no turning it on and off. You know, you just hit your tool or your appliance and you've got instant power. With the petrol generator you have to leave it on running or turn it off in between, so that is another comparison worth thinking about. So right, masks on, and let's do a little bit of sanding. I think what I'll do, I'll run that back through the planer thicknesser just to get all this old glue marks off, so it looks like this side. Okay, on to the next stage, which is polishing those. So I'm just going to set up the polishing machine to polish the copper on here. Now for this particular job, we're going to plug it into the petrol generator outside and demonstrate the difference between using a petrol generator or using the Ecoflow unit on this particular use. Right, let's go and plug her in. As you can hear, you've got a noise issue. It's a Sunday. I don't really like to run tools like this on a Sunday. I like to be as quiet as I can, so that is another element to this project. So let's see what power it produces. think I'm going to go and turn that off, it's quite noisy. So that is drawing
about 360 watts.
okay. As you've just seen, I've just made one of these. Now this is untreated wood, so you can prime it, you can oil it, do whatever you like with it. This is brass, and it can be used for a multitude of things like towel rails, utensil holders. So I'm going to put some of those in the shop. There won't be many of them because of the time it takes me to do them. So they'll be going in the shop soon. These utensils will be going on there separately. They've cleaned up nicely, and whatever else I get around to doing I'll put in the shop. So if you haven't already checked the shop out, it's welcometoshaun'sworld.com, and just go and take a look and sign up for the free blog. So to recap, pros and cons with this: you've got the portability, the weight, there's hardly any noise apart from a fan. I think with the petrol generator, if you was working remotely out in a field and you needed something to be powered continuously for say 5 to 10 hours, if you haven't got a charging point for this, then I think maybe the petrol generator just creeps ahead on that point only. But other than that, I think this comes out leagues ahead. Now I haven't compared this to any other products like for like, but I've done a bit of research online, and lots of YouTubers that have reviewed this particular product have pretty much brought this out on top with all the other makes. So there's lots of people doing research out there, and they're all coming back with the same conclusion: these are brilliant products. And while I'm talking about it, I'd like to thank Ecoflow for powering my project. Now, they've been with me from day one. I explained to them that I wanted to be off grid, not just the end products, but with the renovation work while I'm continuing to do it. And they have fulfilled me with all my power needs, so I am much in appreciation for that company, Ecoflow. Very good, always in contact with me. There will be a link in the description if you want to check out these products, or if you want to buy these products, or just have a look, you know, see how they compare. It helps my channel as well. It sort of lets Ecoflow know that I'm doing my bit for them, so in return they'll supply me with some kit, and it will keep my project on track. So yeah, thanks very much. Right, that is it for this video. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.